Hi everyone, welcome to Weird Escapes, where accessible travel deserves the truth. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Caroline, and we're hitting the road to bring you real, honest reviews and tips about our accessible adventures. As you can see, coming off the ship and going around the bay, it is very flat. The terrain is lovely. A little cobbly here, but nothing excessively to worry about. This section has all the tours on offer. They're like boat tours, river tours, all sorts of different things. We didn't really look into it, so we don't know how many, if any, are wheelchair accessible. However, in a moment, you'll see a side street that we went down, and that was really cobbly. Up here, at the top of the bay, is a few market stalls that had some lovely souvenirs to take home. This street that we're now entering, however, was extremely cobbly. My electric chair was bouncing so much, it was actually quite painful. So a word of warning. And as you can see, not many drop curbs. And then we came across this lovely little thing.
I dared her to go up it, but she wouldn't.
Not in wet weather, no chance, matey.
As you can see, when we get off the ship, we cross over and just keep walking in a straight line.
No, you don't. You're going to a wall.
Oh, okay, clever. I meant to say you turn right, then keep walking in a straight line. We found out that there's a lovely waterfall, so we decided to try and find it. We had no idea where it was, so we just winged it. On our journey, we found a sign that says there was a disabled toilet. As it happens, this disabled toilet was to the right and behind these buildings. Just over there, somewhere. We continued on our journey and we kept on seeing these little chore trains. I call them noddy trains. They go from the ship to different various places of interest, but unfortunately they're not wheelchair accessible. Not that we found anyways. We finally arrived at the waterfall. Unfortunately, as you can see, very uneven and really difficult to manoeuvre in a wheelchair. Luckily, one of the drivers of the noddy train arranged with a bus driver to let us skip in front of the bus so that Cass could try and get down this big step. We managed it.
As one bus pulled away and the other one pulled in, we jumped in front as the entrance to the viewing bridge up this end was a lot flatter, much more easy to negotiate in my electric chair. However, I must give a word of warning. When you actually go on the bridge, the rapid sounds are deafening. So for anyone that doesn't like loud sounds, be careful. We've done a little bit of recording of the rapid sounds to give you an idea of the volume we're talking about. We found the journey in total to the viewing bridge for the waterfall to be about a mile and a half. On our return journey, we kept to the left of the road the whole way down, and we also found a lovely cafe that we had a croissant and a cup of tea. Bloody hell, that was close. I said, you were right close to me. And as you can see, Jeff also loved scaring the crap out of me. Unfortunately, the cafe wasn't wheelchair accessible. It did have a flight of steps to enter. On the other side of the road, where you can see that peaked brown building, is where all the shops are. And I use the term shops loosely as there was one cafe and 2 shops. We're showing you the gangplank again because we want to show how the ports of the Fjord Cruise, the gangplanks were pretty much similar in height, but we wanted to point out that this is not always the case on other cruises. Because the gangplanks are tide dependent, they vary in height throughout the day. The cruise ships do endeavour to make sure they're never too steep, so wherever possible they will change the deck of where you will enter and exit the ship. I got off the ship first at this port so I could turn round and show you how steep the ramp was with Jeff coming down it. As you can see, not overly steep. And any ramps that are a bit steep, there is always staff available to give you a hand. The boat you see in front of us is a river tour boat. It is fully wheelchair accessible, and I will put a link in the description, and it tells you all about where it goes, what you can see, how long, the duration, etc. We personally didn't do this one as it wasn't in our budget. Then you've got the visitor centre. This is where you'll find the disabled toilets and train tickets, because there's also a tour train as well. How wheelchair accessible that is, I kind of believe it's not overly accessible. You can also buy your river cruise tickets, but it is advisable to buy them well in advance as they do sell out extremely quickly. As much as Norway tries to be accessible, there are some hairy moments, shown by this ramp. It's going into the penny loafer shop, and it's wooden, and it is wet. In my opinion, this is definitely a recipe for a possible disaster, especially with no side rails. So anybody needing to hold on a rail, it's steps or this. The ramp at the top ended up being slightly easier than I anticipated.
So, how do you feel about getting back on the ship with a steep ramp?
Yeah, that does actually look quite steep the closer I'm getting.
This will be fun filming. You go first.
Of course. Chicken.
As we were saying before, some ramps are steeper than others. This was the steepest one we came across on this cruise. Still manageable. Not as scary as we first thought, but we have come across steeper ramps on other cruises that were really scary. Right.
This is day 5. We're in Haugesund. I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't even say how you pronounce now. The port is looking bigger than any other port we've stopped at so far. It's 10:10 in the morning. Beautiful sunshine. I'm really looking forward to today's visiting Haugesund, not sure. Let's see how it goes. Come and join us. Once you've passed security, you have to head to the bridge to enter the town. At this point, there is a ramp, but it's far too steep. So we carried on down to the end and we found it was lovely and flat. You cross over and there are a couple of drop curbs and follow the crowd. But at the point of the crossroads here, don't continue following the crowd. It's not as accessible as the route we took, which basically is you go up the road and take the next turning on the right. Follow that down to the end and you can see the bridge in front of you. And if you look to your right, you'll see everybody going over the bridge.
As you can see, the town of Haugesund is very flat and wheelchair accessible. We found the majority of the shops to be accessible by one or two. Then we came across this sign advertising the wheelchair accessible toilet. However, we didn't need to use it, so we can't confirm how accessible it actually was. Is Norway accessible? Yeah, of course it is. Look, you can get into any shop.
No.
She was a chicken, she wouldn't use it.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's our 6th day at sea. We are not visiting a port today. We're sailing back to Southampton for the end of our cruise. We've had a lovely cruise.
Yeah, been really good.
We will explain more in our video, but we can't fault anything. We don't want to go home. And as a last bit of scenery, if he can get his camera to do the right thing, this is our view this morning from our balcony. Really don't want to go home.